It was a picture-perfect Friday at Wrigley Field, one of those rare Chicago afternoons when the sun shines just right, the sky is a brilliant blue, and the city seems to pause for baseball. The stands were packed with fans, a sea of blue and white, as the Cubs faced off against the Pirates in a game that could decide their playoff fate. The energy was palpable, every seat filled with anticipation and hope. The air buzzed with excitement, laughter, and the constant chatter of fans. The scent of ballpark snacks, fresh popcorn, sizzling hot dogs, and sweet caramel corn drifted through the crowd, mixing with the unmistakable aroma of cut grass and leather gloves. Vendors weaved through the aisles, their calls for peanuts and cold drinks adding to the soundtrack of the day. Every pitch and swing mattered, and the energy was electric. Fans leaned forward in their seats, eyes glued to the field, reacting to every close call and big play with cheers, groans, and applause. The tension was thick, but so was the sense of community. Strangers high-fiving after a great catch, families sharing stories between innings. Generations of fans settled in, ready for a classic afternoon of baseball. Grandparents recounted stories of legendary games, parents taught their kids how to keep score, and children waved foam fingers, dreaming of catching a foul ball. For many, this was more than just a game. It was a cherished tradition. The game unfolded with all the familiar rhythms, the crack of the bat echoing through the stadium, the roar of the crowd swelling with every hit, and the intense focus of the players as they battled for every inch. The scoreboard ticked forward, inning by inning as the drama built. Both teams fought for every run, the tension building with each inning. The Cubs were determined, their eyes on the postseason, while the Pirates played with nothing to lose, eager to spoil the home team's dreams. Every play felt like it could tip the balance. No one suspected that this ordinary game was about to become unforgettable for reasons far beyond baseball. The afternoon had all the makings of a classic, but something extraordinary was about to unfold. The Cubs were chasing a playoff spot, the Pirates hoping to play spoiler. In the dugouts, players strategized and encouraged each other, fully aware of what was at stake. Fans soaked in the summer sun, some with sunglasses and Cubs caps, others with scorecards and ice-cold drinks. The mood was light, the crowd relaxed, completely unaware of what was coming next. Players stayed locked in, minds on the game, every muscle tensed for the next play. Coaches barked instructions, and teammates offered encouragement, all focused on the task at hand. Everything felt normal, until a sudden, deafening roar shattered the calm. The crowd's attention snapped away from the field, eyes searching the sky for the source of the noise. In an instant, the predictable afternoon was turned upside down. People leapt from their seats, pointing and gasping as confusion rippled through the stands. Wrigley Field was about to witness a moment no one would ever forget. A moment that would be talked about for years to come, forever etched in the memories of everyone lucky enough to be there that day. In American sports, the pre-game flyover is a beloved tradition, jets soaring overhead, signaling the start of something special. It's a moment that stirs the crowd, a thunderous salute that marks the transition from anticipation to action. The sound of engines roaring above is as much a part of the ritual as the crack of the bat or the cheer of the fans. For many, it's a symbol of unity, pride, and the shared excitement that comes with game day. Fans expect it, phones ready, eyes on the sky as the national anthem ends. It's a scene repeated across the country, people standing, hats off, hands over hearts, waiting for that unmistakable rush overhead. The flyover is a cue that the game is about to begin, a collective breath held in anticipation. The spectacle is planned, anticipated, and unites the stadium in awe. It's a moment when thousands of strangers are brought together, their attention fixed skyward, sharing a sense of wonder and national pride. The flyover is more than just a display of military might. It's a celebration, a tradition that connects generations of fans. It's a symbol of power and celebration, a shared moment before the game begins. The flag waves, the crowd cheers, and for a brief instant, everyone is united in a single, electrifying experience. But at Wrigley Field on August 15th, there was no warning. The day began like any other, with fans streaming into the historic ballpark, ready for an afternoon of baseball. The sun was shining, the stands were filling, and the energy was building for the first pitch. No announcement, no anthem, no heads up. The crowd was focused on the game, chatting with friends, grabbing snacks, and settling into their seats. Players took their positions, unaware that anything unusual was about to happen. The flyover didn't happen before the game, it happened right in the middle of the action. Suddenly, the roar of jet engines filled the air, cutting through the ordinary sounds of the ballpark. Players and fans were focused on baseball, not the sky. The crack of the bat, the shouts from the dugout, the tension of the game, all of it was interrupted in an instant. The roar that erupted was not part of the show. It was a jarring, unexpected shock. People looked up in confusion, searching for the source of the deafening noise. The familiar tradition became a moment of pure confusion. Instead of cheers, there were gasps and startled shouts as the jets thundered overhead. Instead of excitement, there was alarm. Faces turned pale, hands flew to mouths, and the usual joy of the flyover was replaced by uncertainty and fear. The noise was sudden, the timing surreal. For a moment, it felt as if time stood still, the game forgotten as everyone tried to process what was happening. This was not the flyover anyone expected. The tradition had been turned on its head, leaving the crowd in disbelief. It was a stunning interruption that left everyone reeling. A moment that would be remembered not for its pageantry, but for its shock and confusion. The Cubs and Pirates were locked in a tight contest, every pitch and swing charged with tension. The crowd was electric, a sea of blue and gold, their cheers echoing through the historic stands of Wrigley Field. It was the kind of summer afternoon that baseball fans dream about. Sunlight glinting off the bleachers, the smell of popcorn and hot dogs in the air, and the promise of a classic game unfolding before thousands of eager eyes. Then, without warning, a thunderous roar exploded overhead, shattering the familiar rhythm of the ballpark. The sound was overwhelming, far louder and deeper than any commercial plane, a physical force that seemed to shake the very foundations of the stadium. Players froze mid-motion, bats suspended in the air as fans fell silent. The game's familiar soundtrack, crack of the bat, chatter from the dugout, the hum of the crowd, vanished in an instant, replaced by stunned silence. This was no planned spectacle. It was chaos, raw and unfiltered, sweeping through the stands like a wave. Reports would later disagree on the exact inning. Some said the fourth, others swore it was the sixth. But the confusion only added to the shock. The timing was uncanny, catching everyone off guard. Athletes, usually so focused and composed, were suddenly jolted by a primal, disorienting noise that cut through their concentration like a knife. Instinct took over. This wasn't excitement, it was fear. Players ducked, fans recoiled, and for a split second, the stadium felt like the most vulnerable place in the world. In today's world, a sudden blast in a crowded place triggers panic. The collective memory of past tragedies lingers, and the mind races to the worst possibilities. The dugout erupted in confusion, players scrambling for cover, coaches shouting, everyone searching for answers in the chaos. For a moment, the game itself seemed irrelevant. The stadium, usually a safe haven from the outside world, suddenly felt exposed and fragile beneath the open sky. For a few seconds, baseball was forgotten. The only thing that mattered was the deafening roar and the uncertainty it brought. The pitcher stopped mid-windup, the batter stepped out of the box, and every eye in the stadium turned skyward, searching for the source of the chaos. Only after the jets screamed past, their engines fading into the distance, did relief and nervous laughter begin to ripple through the crowd. The tension broke, replaced by a strange sense of camaraderie. The adrenaline rush was real. No one could believe what had just happened. Strangers exchanged wide-eyed glances, sharing a moment they'd never forget. The game had been hijacked by a moment of pure, unscripted chaos, a reminder that even in the most ordinary settings, the extraordinary can erupt without warning. Wrigley Field would never be the same. For those who were there, the day the skies roared would be etched in memory, a story to be told for generations. The answer to the mystery? The Chicago Air and Water Show. That weekend, the Thunderbirds were set to headline the city's massive lakefront event. Their practice runs took them right over Chicago, including Wrigley Field. The flyover wasn't meant for the game, it was just a rehearsal, with the ballpark caught in the flight path. The pilots, focused on their maneuvers, likely had no idea they were startling thousands below. The Jets practiced at low altitude, making the roar even more intense for Cubs fans. Two iconic Chicago events had collided, creating an unforgettable if accidental spectacle. In the Cubs' dugout, instinct took over. Veteran Justin Turner ducked for cover, yelling in shock as the Jets roared overhead. Rookie Matt Shaw hugged Ian Happ, seeking comfort in the chaos. Even the coaches covered their ears, stunned by the noise. For a moment, the dugout was pure pandemonium, baseball forgotten, survival instincts kicking in. The players, usually cool under pressure, were just as startled as anyone. As the noise faded, nervous laughter replaced panic. The team looked at each other in disbelief. Had that really just happened? It was a wild, unscripted moment they'd never forget. In the broadcast booth, the chaos was caught live. Announcer John Boog Sciambi was mid-ad read when the Jets drowned him out, his composure shattered on camera. His partner, Jim DeShays, summed it up perfectly. Scary, Boog. Very scary. The moment was instantly hilarious and relatable. Pure, unscripted TV gold. Clips of the startled broadcasters went viral, fans sharing the perfect collision of baseball and airshow. Even the pros couldn't hide their shock. The phrase "scary Boog" became an instant Cubs fan meme. The broadcast crew kept joking about it, adding levity to the day. Sometimes, the best moments in sports happen off the field. This was one for the highlight reel. As if things weren't strange enough, Star Wars actor Hayden Christensen was at Wrigley to lead the seventh-inning stretch. Just as he was introduced, the Thunderbirds roared overhead, completely derailing the tradition. Fans and Christensen alike were caught off guard, the timing almost cinematic. Instead of annoyance, Christensen laughed it off, sharing the absurdity with his daughter. The mashup of baseball, Hollywood, and military jets was unforgettable. The crowd got a double feature, a celebrity, and a surprise air show. For Christensen, it was a Wrigley memory like no other. Not even a Jedi was prepared for the Thunderbirds' arrival. The day's events became instant legend. After the chaos, baseball resumed. The Cubs and Pirates battled to the end, the game a nail-biter. In the ninth, Jack Sawinski's home run gave Pittsburgh a 3-2 lead. The Cubs fought back, but Pete Crow Armstrong was thrown out trying to steal, ending the game. It was a tough loss, Chicago's fourth in 5 games. Still, the Cubs held a strong wild-card lead and a favorable schedule ahead. The defeat stung, but hope remained for a playoff run. The real story, though, was the unforgettable interruption. The Cubs lost, but the day was about more than the score. The Thunderbirds' surprise flyover became the story everyone would tell. Shock, laughter, and camaraderie filled Wrigley Field. Moments like these remind us why live sports are so special, unpredictable, unforgettable, and uniting. Fans and players alike shared a story for the ages. The image of teammates hugging, the laughter after panic, these are the memories that last. "I was there when" became the refrain. The season would go on, but this day stood apart. Sometimes the best moments are the ones you never see coming. Wrigley Field had a new legend, one written in the roar of the skies.